Hey, what's up guys? Autofanatic. So this is going to be an Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio specific video of tires. I get asked questions regularly on what kind of tires should I put on my Quadrifoglio. I don't want to use my courses all year round, or especially in the winter. Now, if you go back on my channel, I have a dedicated winter wheel and tire package with the Michelin Pilot Alpin P4s. I'm actually going to be discussing that as well in this video today, but we got Jerry's car here with his winter tire package, and he has the Michelin Pilot AS3 Pluses, which is an all-season high-performance tire. So we're going to get in Jerry's car. We're going to go for a drive. I'm going to talk a little bit about this particular tire because I had the same ones on my Infiniti Q50 Red Sport for 3 years. And I'm also going to tell you some more about the Alpin PA4s, being that I've been driving around them now for the second season. I'm also going to discuss about temperatures, steering feedback, braking, road noise, and everything. So if you guys have a Giulia Quadrifoglio, please stay tuned to the rest of the video.
These tires, they're all-season AS3 Pluses. They're definitely they're louder and they're firmer than the courses, than the stock courses.
So guys, I want to talk about this video because so many people contact me about tires. Everybody hates the courses. I don't personally hate them. The reason I changed the courses from my particular feedback, I wanted a firmer sidewall because my car's lowered. We have very bad roads over here. So what happens is on the corset tire with that very soft sidewall, it just makes the car feel a little too squishy, and it also compresses against the rim and bends the rims too easily as well. So that's the main reason why I took the courses off of my car and I went with the Michelin Pilot Super Sports, which I think is probably the best summer tire you're going to put on that car in OEM sizes that's available right now. Also the Bridgestone SO4. A client of mine has those tires up in northern Connecticut, and I did drive them, and it does feel somewhat comparable, but the SO4 definitely doesn't have the sharpness in the steering, and I noticed the braking distance is not as good compared to the Pilot Super Sports. Now, I'm driving Jerry's car today. This has the Michelin Pilot AS3 Plus. This is considered a high-performance all-season, and like I said, they also rate these tires. Jerry, what is the temperature range?
Well, the Plus model actually has a special compounds that so it's below freezing, and they're good for, they're supposedly good in light snow. They're not as good as the snow tire, obviously.
No, so I had these tires on our Infiniti Q50 Red Sport. So if you guys watch my channel, you know the cars that I've had since I started the channel. I had them on the Q50 Red Sport, and on that car, the reason I put them on is A, we had an all-wheel drive vehicle, and B, we wanted to have decent snow traction. But the couple of issues that we ran into, not only me, a lot of customers and fans that watch the Autofanatic channel went out and bought them for their BMWs, they bought them for their Kia Stingers, and all these other cars, is premature wear. So I think, Jerry, they rate these AS3 Pluses at 50,000 miles?
Yeah, they're up there.
So on our Infiniti Q50 Red Sport, the first set was completely gone at about 17,000 miles. Now, granted, that car had a lot of horsepower. I was romping on it constantly, and it was all-wheel drive, and the car was heavy. So that may have contributed to the premature wear, but it still wore prematurely. So prior to getting rid of our Q50 Red Sport, I had a fight with Michelin, and they prorated the replacement set. Now, the reason they prorated the replacement set is the mileage and the time from when I bought them. There was almost about 3 years since I bought them, so they weren't going to give me like a full credit. So whatever, I just put the new set on the car, and we drove the new set. We put them on the car, I believe it was in August, September, October, November. Now, we went right into winter. Winter last year was really bad. The temperatures were really, really bad. We didn't get a lot of snow, but we had very, very cold temps, and that car was not garaged. So what ended up happening towards February, March, the thread blocks and the sidewalls developed cracking in the actual main carcass of the tire, and cracking of a tire is not safe. I'm definitely not going to let anybody drive on a tire like that. So I went back to my tire rack wholesale rep and to Michelin, and they prorated a replacement set again. So we put them on the car, and we eventually sold the car and got rid of the car. But a lot of people have reported in Texas, on the West Coast, in Canada, they also bought these same tires and had the same thing, premature wear and tires cracking. This was on mostly all-wheel drive vehicles, BMW 4 Series, BMW 5 Series, Infinitis, a whole bunch of cars that people watch my channel. They went out and they're like, you know what, what's a great all-season tire? And this is the one that I suggested because you give up very little in the steering and the handling. And and that's, to me, is the most important. I don't want to put an all-season tire in the car where it's going to feel like mush, right? I mean, I agree.
Yeah, these actually feel, for an all-season, these are actually pretty good. Like, these are, like, if the tires on the Stelvio that come standard,
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
No.
They feel, I mean, that's amazing that the Stelvio handles as well, just considering what they put on it. These actually feel pretty good. They're not as sharp as a turn-in, obviously, as the Corsa.
No.
The sidewalls are actually harder, so it actually feels...
so this tire in this particular car has a firmer ride because of stiffer sidewall. It could be because of the all-season construction, but if you were to put a Continental DWS 6 on this car, it would totally just throw the handling and steering in the garbage. I don't like those tires. I just think for an all-season, that tire excels in light snow, whereas this tire excels in the handling department. Now, we had snow the other night, and I took out my car at the Alpin PA4s, and I live on a lot of big inclines and hills, and I'm able to get up and down them. Now, with the AS3 Pluses, I think, Jerry, if you were to come over the other night, you would have had a hard time going up my hill.
Yeah, true.
Just because of the physics of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, a true snow tire is definitely, I mean, if you're going to be driving in snow and you have to drive the car in snow, you probably want the true winter tire. I think the plus part of these tires is the compound whiz. It uses like a sunflower oil or some kind of organic oil, which helps maintain like the soft tread down at lower temperatures. And I mean, maybe the formulation gave them issues originally when you had the cracking with it, or who knows. But this is my second season on them, and they look brand new. Still, I mean, they definitely will outlast the courses. The courses, you know, you can get 10, 12,000.
Yeah, and people ask me all the time, like, now my recommendation, if you own a Quadrifoglio, and you have to deal with harsh winters and snow conditions, I think it's mandatory you have an extra set of wheels and tires. That's just my opinion. I think...
Yeah, you can't use the courses when
no.
Below 50, you don't want to.
No, the special nature and the handling and the sharpness and the dynamics of this car, you really want to enjoy it most of the time with the Pirelli courses or the Pilot Super Sports or a Bridgestone SO4 pole position. Now, by having the option of the winter package, like I personally went with the dedicated winter tire. Now, what I noticed on my particular car is it's got a firm ride, okay, compared to the OEM courses, which is what I like. The steering and the handling is phenomenal for a dedicated winter tire. They're absolutely phenomenal. The only problem is we're having such a mild winter this year, and there hasn't been really any bad weather, that when the temperatures are 40 degrees and above, today is 50, okay? So my car today feels very squishy and very similar with the handling because the rubber is deflecting, you know, as you're trying to corner, very similar to a Continental DWS 06. So on a day like today, this feels better, okay, because this is more performance oriented and it's not a winter compound. But when the temperatures go from 32 degrees to below freezing, I'm talking well below freezing, the Pilot Alpins are incredible. Not just in the dry, you know, when it's dry out, but just for the handling, the steering, and the braking is phenomenal. I mentioned it in my one-year review video, you know, it's not a car you're going to want to drive in a blizzard, but with those tires, you will get home, but you have to know how to drive. That's just plain and simple. It's a rear-wheel drive car, has a lot of power, and the car is balanced and everything else. It's not a very heavy car. This is not like a 4,500-pound car. So if you do the wrong thing, the back of the car is going to kick out real easily.
But if you live in like even in the Northeast and you have a Quadrifoglio that you're probably not going to take out in the winter, the all season. I mean, personally, I hate all season tires.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like an all season is really a no season. It's good at nothing in particular. But these are actually pretty decent overall tires. And if you're just looking for a tire that gives you a wider temperature range to have as an alternative to your summer tires, if you want a second set, these are actually pretty good as that second set of just for temperature reasons.
Exactly.
If you really want snow, you gotta get a snow tire.
Yeah, you either try to find if you could get in stock. See, the problem is, you know, wintertime here, it's hard to get these tires in stock. The Pirelli Soto Zeros, that's a great tire. I had those on my GT350. I thought that was a great tire. It did not handle as good as the Michelins, so I made the sacrifice and I said, you know what? I want the handling, and if there's a bad storm, I'm just not going to take the car out. Plus, I own a Stelvio, and Jerry's got a Stelvio, so it doesn't really matter. We don't need that emergency situation. Like, I don't have a 1 hour commute to and from work, and I can stay home if I have to because I work for myself. But so the situation that I found with the Alpins is you're really going to get the best benefit out of them when the temps are below 40 degrees. Above 40 degrees, you're going to hate them. They're just, it's going to feel too mushy and everything else. And I'm noticing now, being that we're not having any snow, that my tires are wearing out like crazy because I drive the car aggressively.
Because these are probably the AS3 pluses. If you're really intent on just a broader temperature range and you want to drive in, wet when it's not freezing, and from and cold temperatures when it's dry, these are actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, this tire's great in the rain. Like I said, a lot of people contact me and say, oh, the courses are dangerous. I think it really comes down to driver error. Seriously, if it's raining out, don't be driving 120 miles an hour in the car. It's just common sense. It's just not designed for that, those tires. It's just not a good rain tire by design. But, if you want an all-season tire and you don't want to get a dedicated snow, I have a lot of you guys that watch my channel all over the UK where you're getting a lot of rain, you're getting colder temps, but you're maybe not getting snow. Also in parts of Switzerland and Germany and Poland and Ukraine or whatever, you guys have these cars, and maybe you just get the colder temperatures, or you have a climatic region where you get a lot of rain, like you live in Oregon or Washington State, and you just want a better, more practical tire. Then the Michelin AS3 Plus is definitely my recommended tire for you guys. Now, the one thing I'll tell you, being that I had issues with the premature wear and the cracking, the number one thing I'll recommend is make sure you buy your tires from an authorized vendor. Don't buy them on eBay. Don't buy them on Craigslist. Don't buy them used. Buy them new, that if you do have an issue, you could always have the receipt, the proof of purchase, that you could go back to the manufacturer and say, hey, listen, these tires, they wore out, they cracked, they caused me issues, and they will honor that warranty.
And like a Tire Rack has that, usually when you buy a set from them, you do get like a extended 2-year warranty.
Yeah, they'll do a road hazard warranty as well. And that's for retail. Now, I'm not a retail customer with Tire Rack. I have wholesale, so I don't get any of those perks, unfortunately, but that's just the way it goes. But when I have an issue, I just go to my wholesale manager, and when we file a claim internally, and then it gets handled in that particular manner. But other than that, I mean, another thing too, these tires are relatively cheaper. Now, Jerry, how much was this set retail?
I think it was less. I think I paid around $900.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a set of courses is about almost 15.
Yeah, 12, 13 sometimes.
Depending on where you're buying them, and of course the shipping.
And the Michelin's, the Alpin's usually what, 13?
The Michelin Alpins were about $1,300. The Pilot Super Sports were about $1,300, and that's my cost. That's with my wholesale discount. So, it really comes down to if you could only have one set of wheels and tires on your car. So as you guys can see, the handling of these tires is pretty damn good. And you got total confidence. Good steering feedback, it's not sloppy. And like I said in the video, if you need to get just one tire that's going to pretty much do everything for you, this is probably going to be your best bet if you don't want to drive the courses and get an extra set of wheels and tires. But I still recommend on this car, if you're going to have to deal with winter and snow, to definitely get an extra set of wheels and tires. And that just makes a lot of sense. And like I said, Jerry's got an extra set of wheels and tires, and he's got the all seasons, and I have a dedicated winter tire. And it really depends what you want. I need it.
They're all compromises.
Yeah.
So you got to just choose what your compromise
Exactly. Like, you don't live on big hills and windy roads like I do. If you did, you would probably go with a dedicated snow tire with studs. But yeah, I live on some pretty dangerous roads, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, little they call it sipes, the little jagged edges on the inside of the tire, so that they are, they're made for a little bit of snow. It's just the temperature range is probably the biggest sell on these things, because these are good down below freezing all the way. You could I guess drive these in the summer too, as an all season, as a regular.
Oh yeah, like we drove on them for for 3 years almost.
Whereas you definitely wouldn't want to drive the Alpins. Anything like if you're regularly driving above 50 degrees, you don't want to.
Well, that's what's happening now. Like, our temperatures are so warm, and I'm getting a little squishiness in the handling, and my tires are burning up. I'm like wasting good winter tires, and I'm so tempted. I have my summer tires sitting on my dolly in the garage. I should just switch them. That's what I was doing last year. I was switching my wheels and tires like every other day because of the forecast. But there's that one time where you're not going to make it, and you're going to get stuck, and then you're going to have your car towed. And that's what I'm trying to avoid by doing that. The back end got a little squirmy right there, but the handling is there.
There is a lot of salt and junk on the road too, though. So
exactly. See, when you're going through roads like this at high speed, that's the difference between his car and my car. Like, this steering feels a little bit looser, whereas my car, I'm lower, firmer, and a little bit wider. It just has a little bit more sharper turning, a little bit more grip on the front end or the front axle. But no, this thing feels good. So, like I said, for all you guys that are asking about tires, you know, if you want it all season, Michelin Pilot AS3 Plus, hands down, that's the one you're going to want. You can still enjoy the car, puts the power down. You can see I'm driving very spirited right now. It's 44 degrees. I feel the back suspension softer than mine. I'm not used to it.
it's probably a little more roll.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. But no, I mean, like I said, it's a good alternative if you're scared of the horses. All right, guys, so that's the drive video we did today on the Michelin Pilot AS3 Pluses. Like I said, you want an all-season tire, that's the one to go for. You want a dedicated winter tire, the Michelin Pilot Alpins, that's the one you're going to want to go for as well. So stay tuned to the channel for more automotive content and more videos on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. And also, I'll be having an updated Stelvio TI Sport ownership video on the channel real soon. Please like, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.